In January 2022, I documented a raccoon attacking a male feral cat in the wild, and I continue to study their environment and behavior. These are true feral cats, descended from feral cats, and raccoons and other animals in their natural environment. The resulting behavior is not that typically seen in habituated animals feeding around houses and people. This is their private world. In the January fight, the cat got some good licks in, and the raccoon had some bites and scratches, and the cat a minor limp immediately after the fight. However, the cat has continued to pay a high price for that encounter, and appears to have a chronic injury in his right rear hip. It seems to come and go from a minor limp to a major debilitating injury at times, perhaps when he re-aggravates it. The dominant male, or boar raccoon as they are called, of this little patch of earth, doles out discipline to his fellow raccoons as well as cats. Here he is literally drooling on the camera after letting a younger raccoon know who's boss. Raccoon claws are not as needle sharp as cats, but they are plenty sharp, and stronger and more powerful, like little bear paws. Natural raccoon society is complex and can be rough and tumble when relationships get sorted out. Body language and posturing seem to be very important. In this environment, feral domestic cats are interlopers. This major animal trail intersection in the thick Florida forest where I have my camera is like the town square where a lot of this drama plays out, and raccoons are just as rough on each other as on the cat. In this case, a female raccoon takes serious offense to a male trailing behind her. This is the big boar raccoon. I have documented that male raccoons enjoy each other's company and like to hang out together, often within the same age group. But when a much smaller male raccoon hangs with the big boar, as in this case, all is well as long as the proper respect is shown. You can see just how big a male raccoon can be. And the dominant male is the one that rubs his scent highest up on the saw palmetto tree above the main trail intersection. In this example, two similar-sized younger raccoons meet and go through a stylized fight ritual that eventually leads to chilling out and grooming each other. But the wild male feral cat has other bigger and more dangerous foes to worry about, as rapid habitat loss in this area forces wild animals closer together into smaller and smaller scattered territories. Apex predators for this environment are the bobcats and coyotes. And now a newly arrived bigger and badder unfixed wild male feral cat has arrived. This big fella has more of a raccoon tail than the raccoons do. These two male cats have their own rituals for sorting out relationships and personal spaces. This video is shown at real speed. The big new feral cat is purposely walking very, very slowly and methodically taking his good old time while smacking his lips. While the original feral cat watches and growls right next to the camera, and then follows him into the main trail entrance. A few minutes later, the original feral cat appears, followed at a distance by the new feral male, and the two have since appeared to have come to terms and are seen separately fairly often. Although the feral cat in the last scene was not limping too badly at the time, in recent weeks his limp has become debilitating and painful to watch. He is losing weight and is unlikely he can survive long in the wild in that condition. I need to humanely try to remove these unfixed male feral cats from the woods, for their own good and the good of the native birds and wildlife. But traditional baited live trapping won't work, as one can see all the other native animals involved that would be attracted and potentially caught in the trap. So I got the idea of trying catnip, and it appears to be working. No other animals, including the bobcats, surprisingly, are interested in the catnip I sprinkle at the trail intersection. However, both male feral cats find it irresistible and will at times spend several hours rolling on the ground and then napping in it and eating some. This introduction of catnip changes their routine and modifies their behavior, and has resulted in a certain degree of control and predictability of the feral cats. I now know where they will be at some point day and night, and their desire for catnip is so great that a large have-a-heart-style live baited trap with catnip in the daytime might well work. The original feral cat has just arrived at a new drop of fresh catnip and is excitedly falling under its influence at the same time that a raccoon is approaching on the trail. The cat is typically overactive and aggressive on catnip at first. The power of the catnip is so strong that the cat continues to rub and roll in it even as the raccoon approaches him. But the cat also knows it cannot seriously run or fight with its hip injury, so it stays put and braces for a fight and hisses ominously. This is a female raccoon on her way back to her den, where her young kits wait. She just wants to get safely home to her babies without injury. The raccoon seems to sense that there's something wrong with this injured cat, and he's no longer a serious threat. In this next raccoon encounter, the same feral cat has been under the influence of catnip for several hours, and is quite relaxed, and eventually runs away as the raccoon draws ever closer. But again, the raccoon does not bother to pursue. The newer and bigger male feral cat has been on catnip for a few hours and is now totally mellowed out. The cat shows no sign of being on alert or any concerned behavior at all as the large male possum approaches and cautiously passes him on the trail. The cat's response is more like he is fascinated by watching the big possum pass within inches while he maintains a totally unprepared posture. Neither feral cat has become immune to the catnip. In fact, they both continue to have strong reactions and alter their routines and behavior around catnip availability, to the point where I may be able to humanely capture them with a catnip-baited live trap. Feeding backyard birds and enjoying natural backyard wildlife, and generally getting out into nature is more popular than ever now. I recommend a trail camera for your special nature place to see what goes on 24/7. You may well be surprised at what you see. You may also see things you wish you hadn't, so there is some emotional risk involved. If one pays close attention to the ecology of their little patches of heaven, they will eventually come to grips with the presence of feral cats, even in places you might not expect them. These feral cats are fascinating and resilient, and like all wild animals are incredibly stoic in their struggle to survive. But they don't belong in the wild, and it's not their fault. Only humans are to blame for their plight.